Have you ever felt caught between two worlds, like you remember a time before smartphones, but you can't imagine living without one now? If that sounds familiar, you might just be part of the most unique and often overlooked generation. Gen X, born roughly between 1965 and 1980. We are the bridge generation, the pioneers who navigated the shift from an analog past to a digital future. Our story is one of incredible adaptation, resilience, and a quiet competence that has shaped the modern world more than most people realize. So, let's dive deep into the psychology of Generation X, the original digital immigrants. First, let's set the scene. Imagine a childhood without the internet. Our entertainment was a handful of TV channels, blockbuster movies we saw in the theater, and music we taped off the radio. We made plans with friends using landline phones, and if they weren't home, that was it. You just had to try again later. We learned to be independent, to entertain ourselves, and to be resourceful. This upbringing fostered a fierce sense of self-reliance. We were the latchkey kids, coming home to an empty house, responsible for our own snacks and homework. This wasn't seen as a neglect. It was just the way things were. This independence is a core part of the Gen X psyche. We learned early on that if you want something done, you often have to figure it out yourself. This self-sufficiency bred a healthy dose of skepticism. We grew up watching institutions fail. We saw political scandals, economic recessions, and the dawn of the 24-hour news cycle, which often felt more focused on sensationalism than truth. Unlike the boomers who tended to trust authority, or millennials who were raised to question it collaboratively, Gen X developed a more cynical, prove-it-to-me attitude. We don't blindly follow trends or hype. We want to see the evidence, weigh the pros and cons, and make our own decisions. This isn't negativity, it's pragmatism. It's a survival mechanism honed over decades of seeing things not always turn out as promised. Then, the world changed. The digital revolution arrived. Not with a gentle fade-in, but like a tidal wave. For those older, it was a foreign language. For those younger, it was their native tongue. But for Gen X, we were right in the middle. We had to learn it all from scratch. We went from using card catalogs in the library to typing search queries into Alta Vista. We transitioned from writing letters to sending emails, from making mixtapes to creating MP3 playlists. We were the first generation to have a foot firmly planted in both the analog and digital worlds. This unique position gave us an incredible advantage: adaptability. We aren't digital natives, but we are digital pioneers. We remember the why behind the old ways, but we embraced the how of the new ways. This duality makes Gen X incredibly valuable in the workplace and in society. We can troubleshoot a tech issue with the best of them, but we also remember how to have a face-to-face conversation without checking our phones every 30 seconds. We understand the importance of a handwritten thank you note and the efficiency of a group chat. We are the translators, the mediators between the old guard and the new school. Think about the workplace culture we created. The rigid, hierarchical structures of the boomer era didn't quite fit our independent spirit. We championed the idea of work-life balance, not as a luxury, but as a necessity. We saw our parents work themselves to the bone for a company that might lay them off tomorrow. So, we said, no, thanks. We'll work hard, we'll be loyal, but our lives outside of the office matter just as much. We were the ones who started pushing for flexible hours, casual dress codes, and a results-oriented work environment long before it became a mainstream tech bro cliché. We value competence over credentials and efficiency over endless meetings. Now, let's talk about our relationship with media and consumerism. We were the first generation to be heavily marketed to as children. We were the MTV generation. We saw the birth of branding as we know it today. But because of our inherent skepticism, we also developed a strong BS detector. We can spot an inauthentic ad from a mile away. We value authenticity and quality over flashy logos. We were not easily swayed by influencer marketing because we remember a time when a recommendation came from a trusted friend, not a sponsored post. This makes us savvy, discerning consumers. We do our research, we read reviews, and we are more likely to be loyal to a brand that delivers on its promises, not one that just has the biggest marketing budget. But it's not all about cynicism and hard work. Gen X has a very specific brand of humor. It's dry, it's ironic, it's a little dark sometimes. It says the humor of people who have seen it all and have learned to laugh at the absurdity of it. It's the humor of The Simpsons, of Seinfeld, of grunge music lyrics. It's a coping mechanism, a way to deal with the constant change and uncertainty we grew up with. We find humor in the mundane, the awkward, and the slightly dysfunctional. This shared cultural language is a huge part of what bonds us as a generation. If you can quote lines from The Breakfast Club or Reality Bites, you're part of the club. And let's not forget our role as parents. We are the generation raising Gen Z and the youngest millennials. We are often described as the opposite of helicopter parents. We encourage our kids' independence because we valued our own so much. We want them to be resilient, to be able to solve their own problems, and to not be afraid of failure. At the same time, we are more emotionally engaged than our own parents often were. We bridge the gap, wanting to give our children the freedom we had, but with the emotional support we might have missed. We are reteaching them how to use technology responsibly because we learned its power and its pitfalls firsthand. So, where does that leave Gen X today? We're in our 40s and 50s, at the peak of our careers and influence. We are the managers, the entrepreneurs, the leaders, who are quietly running the world, while everyone else is busy arguing on social media. We are often called the forgotten middle child generation, sandwiched between the massive boomer and millennial cohorts. And honestly, most of us are okay with that. We've never been the generation that craves the spotlight. We'd rather just get the job done and go home. Our psychology is a complex blend of boomer work ethic and millennial flexibility, of analog nostalgia and digital fluency. We are the pragmatists, the realists, the survivors. We've weathered recessions, technological revolutions, and cultural shifts, and we've come out stronger and more adaptable on the other side. We are the glue holding the modern world together, the essential link between where we've been and where we're going. The world simply wouldn't work the way it does today without the quiet, competent, and deeply resourceful spirit of Generation X. So next time you hear a debate about boomers versus millennials, take a moment to appreciate the generation in the middle. The ones who learned to program in BASIC on a Commodore 64 and now build complex spreadsheets on a MacBook Pro. The ones who rocked out to Nirvana on a Walkman and now curate their favorite playlists on Spotify. We are Gen X. We've seen it all, we've done it all, and we're not done yet. Thanks so much for watching. What's your favorite Gen X memory or trait? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this look into the bridge generation, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more content. See you next time.